My dad sneered. "You'll never be as good as your brother." The words stuck like rusted nails in the air. "My name is Rachel Monroe. I'm 27. And if you think you know how this ends, stay tuned. Have you ever had family cross your boundaries? Let me know in the comments." I stood in the middle of our kitchen, the fluorescent light buzzing overhead, turning my skin a shade of sickly pale. My father leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, smirking like he had already won some silent war. My mom hovered near the sink, drying dishes she hadn't washed. I swallowed the lump in my throat and fired back. "Then tell him to pay all the bills. I'm not sending money anymore." My voice cracked, but the words landed like glass shattering. For a heartbeat, silence. Then my mom spun around, her face drained. "What money?" she asked, her dish towel slipping to the floor. Her tone wasn't angry, it was confused. "We never received a single dollar from you." The room shifted. The refrigerator hummed louder, and I could hear my own pulse thudding in my ears. My brother's photo, framed on the wall, stared down at me, mocking. My legs trembled, but I didn't sit. Something inside me cracked open. Not just hurt, but clarity. That was the night I realized betrayal doesn't always come in the form of strangers. Sometimes it's wrapped in the faces that raised you. My mom's voice echoed in my head long after she said it. "We never received a single dollar." I felt my chest tighten, like the air had been stolen from the room. "What do you mean?" I whispered, but my dad cut me off with a chuckle. "Don't play dumb, Rachel. You wanted attention, so now you're making up lies." I slammed my palm against the table. "I sent you transfers. Every month. Thousands. Check the accounts." My words rattled, desperate but sharp. My brother, Aaron, strolled in just then, yawning, phone in hand. He didn't even look at me before muttering, "Oh, so the princess wants credit now." He grabbed an apple from the counter, like it was his throne. The air between us thickened. I could almost hear the static of betrayal. My mom's hands shook as she reached for her phone. "Rachel, show me," she said softly. I pulled up the bank app, scrolling through endless transactions, each labeled with their names, each marked successful. I shoved the screen toward her. Her lips parted, trembling, but nothing ever arrived. We never saw a cent. Aaron snorted, taking a loud bite of his apple. "Maybe you sent it to the wrong place. Wouldn't be the first time you screwed up." But then, just for a second, his eyes flicked sideways, avoiding mine. And in that fleeting glance I saw it. A crack, a secret. And I knew. The money hadn't vanished. It had been taken. The sound of Aaron's crunching apple grated against my nerves. My mom kept scrolling through my phone, her hands trembling harder with each swipe. "Rachel, this is real," she whispered. "Every month, all this money." But her eyes darted to Aaron. My father cleared his throat sharply, like a judge slamming down a gavel. "Enough. Rachel's just stirring drama again. Don't listen to her lies." But I wasn't looking at him anymore. I was watching Aaron. He shifted his weight, eyes glued to his phone, thumb scrolling nowhere. His knuckles whitened. That same sideways glance, guilt leaking through. "Check his account," I said flatly. The room froze. My dad scoffed. "How dare you accuse your brother?" "Check his account." My voice sliced through the air. Aaron finally looked up. A smirk painted across his face, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Why would I need your charity?" he mocked. But I saw the tremor in his jaw, the twitch of nerves he tried to disguise. Mom's fingers trembled as she set my phone down. "Aaron," she whispered, "just open yours. Prove her wrong." For a moment I thought he might. He tapped his screen, face lit by the cold blue glow. Then he locked it with a snap and shoved it into his pocket. "I don't have to prove anything," he muttered. And that was the moment. That silence, that refusal, it told me everything. The betrayal wasn't an accident. It was a theft. a secret my whole family had been living inside of, without me. The air felt poisoned, like the kitchen itself had turned against me. My mom pressed her palms against the counter, her knuckles pale. "Aaron, is this true?" Her voice cracked, pleading, as though she already knew the answer. Aaron laughed under his breath, sharp and ugly. "You really think she paid your bills out of the goodness of her heart? Please, Rachel's always needed attention." "I have receipts," I snapped, slamming my phone back into my palm. "Bank statements, transaction IDs, all of it." My voice shook, but the evidence was iron. My father rose slowly from his chair, the wood creaking. His shadow stretched across the linoleum floor. "Rachel, you will not accuse your brother of theft in this house." His tone was cold steel, the kind that dares you to fight back. I met his glare. For the first time, I didn't flinch. "I'm not accusing him. I'm proving it." Aaron rolled his eyes, tossing the half-eaten apple into the sink. "You think anyone cares? You think a few transfers make you some kind of hero? Newsflash, Dad's right. You'll never measure up." My mom turned to him, tears brimming. "Aaron, answer me." But he stayed silent, jaw tight, fists buried deep in his hoodie pocket. That silence was its own confession. And in that moment, the walls of this house, the same walls I once called home, felt like a courtroom. Except the verdict was already written. This family didn't want the truth. They wanted my silence. I felt the weight of their silence pressing down on me, but something inside me snapped free. "You stole my money, Aaron," I said, my voice steady now. "Every transfer I sent, every sacrifice I made gone. And you let them believe I never cared." His smirk faltered, just for a second. My mom gasped, clutching the counter like the truth itself had knocked her off balance. "Rachel, stop!" my dad barked, stepping forward, but I raised my hand. For once, he didn't control the room. I opened my banking app again, scrolling down the endless line of payments. Rent, utilities, repairs, every month. I sent enough to keep this house standing. "And you?" I turned to Aaron, my chest heaving. "You've been bleeding it dry while they praised you for doing nothing." Aaron's mask cracked, his face twisted, ugly, defensive. "So what? They'd rather see me succeed than you. That money was wasted on them anyway." Mom's eyes widened. "Wasted?" Her voice broke on the word. I stepped closer, the hum of the fridge buzzing between us like static. "You wanted to be the golden child so badly, Aaron? Then pay for it, because I'm done funding the circus." The room quivered with tension. My dad's jaw locked. My mom's tears fell soundlessly. Aaron's breathing grew ragged. And me? For the first time, I didn't feel small. I felt dangerous. Aaron's words hung heavy, like ash after a fire. That money was wasted anyway. My mom turned on him, eyes blazing through her tears. "How could you? We thought Rachel abandoned us. We thought she didn't care." Aaron shrugged, but the tremor in his hands betrayed him. "So what? You always said I was the future of this family. I just took what was mine." My stomach twisted. "Mine?" The word sliced deeper than any sneer. Dad slammed his fist against the table, the sound echoing through the walls. "Enough. This ends here." He pointed at me, eyes like ice. "You will not tear this family apart with your accusations." But the word accusations crumbled under the weight of the truth. I unlocked my phone again, scrolling until I found it. Screenshots of transfers, line after line, with Aaron's linked account. Proof that didn't lie. I held it up, the blue glow lighting my face. "Not accusations," I said softly. "Evidence." For the first time, Dad hesitated. Just a flicker, but enough. Mom covered her mouth, staring at Aaron as if she didn't recognize her own son. Aaron tried to grab my phone, but I pulled it back, clutching it to my chest like armor. "Touch me again," I whispered, "and I'll make sure every relative, every neighbor, every judge sees this." The room fell silent. For once, I wasn't the one cornered. They were. Aaron's face flushed crimson, his smirk gone, replaced with something raw, fear. "You wouldn't dare," he spat, but his voice cracked, thin and unconvincing. I straightened my shoulders, my phone steady in my hand. "Dare? Aaron, I've already done it. These screenshots are backed up, sent to my lawyer, sent to myself. You can't erase what you've stolen." Mom stumbled back, pressing a hand to her chest. "Rachel, a lawyer?" Her tone was fragile, like she was standing on ice that had just begun to crack. "Yes," I said, meeting her eyes, "because someone has to hold him accountable. And if Dad won't, I will." Dad's jaw worked furiously, but no words came. For the first time, his authority meant nothing. The truth had hollowed him out. Aaron lunged forward, but then stopped mid-step, cornered by his own guilt. His hands clenched, unclenched, then dropped to his sides. He looked smaller now, like the golden boy mask had slipped, leaving only a scared thief. "I did it for us," he muttered, his eyes darting desperately toward Dad. "For this family. You always said Rachel was weak. You told me to take care of things." The betrayal wasn't just his anymore. It was a conspiracy, whispered between father and son while I emptied my account to keep them safe. My mother's knees buckled. She sank into the chair, shaking. "Oh my God," she whispered. And I knew. The lie had finally devoured them. The kitchen was silent, except for the faint drip of the faucet. My mom sat trembling, her eyes darting between me, Aaron, and Dad, as though searching for the family she thought she had, but realizing it was gone. Aaron's defense collapsed under its own weight. "I only took what Dad told me I deserved," he muttered. The confession clung to the air, ugly and undeniable. Dad finally spoke, but his voice wasn't thunder anymore, it was gravel. "Enough, Rachel. Families survive on silence. If you love your mother, you'll drop this." I looked at my mom, her tears, her shaking hands, her disbelief, and I realized silence hadn't saved us. It had destroyed us. I stepped forward, phone still in my grip like a torch. "No, families survive on truth, and you've both built this one on theft and lies." For the first time, my mom reached for me instead of away. Her voice cracked, but it was steady enough. "Rachel, I believe you." Aaron's face twisted in shock. Dad's glare faltered. And in that fragile, irreversible moment, the tide shifted. Weeks later, the lawyer confirmed it all. Every transfer traced, every cent accounted for. Aaron's name inked in black and white. The bills were no longer mine to carry, and neither was their approval. I walked away with something better than money. Clarity. Betrayal had been my inheritance, but truth became my freedom.